Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The Dallas Cowboys are back in the headlines, and this time, it's not because of another heartbreaking playoff exit or one of Jerry Jones' unpredictable sound bites. No, this time it's about George Pickens, the electric wide receiver who has exploded onto the scene in his first year with America's team. Cowboys Nation can't stop talking about him, and now there's a growing buzz that his breakout might not only reshape the offense, but also the team's financial future. Reports are surfacing that the Cowboys have begun internal discussions about a potential contract extension for Pickens, and while no one is saying it's imminent, the timing of these talks could reveal a lot about how Dallas views its future. Let's start with the obvious. George Pickens has been an absolute revelation for the Cowboys in 2025. After being traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers in what many called a high-upside gamble, Pickens has done more than just meet expectations. He shattered them. With CeeDee Lamb sidelined after that early game injury against the Chicago Bears, the Cowboys' passing attack looked like it might crumble. Dak Prescott had lost his most reliable weapon. The offense felt unsteady, and fans were bracing for a mid-season collapse. But Pickens wasn't about to let that happen. He stepped into the WR1 role like he'd been born for it, making contested catches, bullying defenders with his physicality, and igniting the Cowboys' offense when it needed it most. Heading into Week 8, Pickens ranks fourth in the entire NFL in receiving yards with 607, and he's tied for second in touchdown receptions with 6. That's elite production by any measure, and it's even more impressive considering the transition he had to make in learning a new system and building chemistry with Dak Prescott on the fly. But here's the real kicker. Pickens is not just putting up numbers. He's giving the Cowboys something they've lacked for years: swagger. There's an edge to his game, a confidence that borders on cockiness, and it's contagious. Watch the way he celebrates a big catch, the way he stares down a cornerback who tried, and failed, to press him at the line. You can feel that energy ripple through the entire offense. Even Jake Ferguson, the tight end who's quietly having a huge year of his own with 6 touchdown grabs, seems to feed off that intensity. For a Cowboys team that's been criticized for lacking identity when the lights shine brightest, Pickens has brought back that old-school Dallas bravado. And now, as the Cowboys ride the wave of Pickens' breakout, the business side of football inevitably comes knocking. ESPN's Dan Graziano recently reported that the team has started internal discussions about what a contract extension for Pickens might look like. According to Graziano, Dallas has been examining how other franchises, like the Bengals, Dolphins, and Eagles, have managed to pay multiple high-end receivers while staying under the salary cap. That's an interesting detail because it shows that the Cowboys aren't just throwing ideas around casually. They're running the numbers, comparing structures, and figuring out how they can keep both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in the building without blowing up their financial flexibility. Now, Graziano did make it clear that he doesn't expect a deal to be finalized during the season. That's not surprising. The Cowboys front office rarely moves quickly on these types of negotiations. They like to wait, to see how the year plays out, to make sure they're not overpaying based on a hot streak. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have both earned reputations for dragging contract talks out, sometimes to the frustration of players and fans alike. We've seen it before with Dak Prescott, with Ezekiel Elliott, with DeMarcus Lawrence, and even with CeeDee Lamb himself. So, the idea that they'd slow play things with Pickens fits right into that pattern. But even so, the fact that these conversations are happening this early says a lot. It shows that the Cowboys understand exactly what they have in George Pickens, a young, ascending playmaker who's already proven he can carry an offense when needed. There's also the reality that Dallas has to think about the long game. CeeDee Lamb is still the face of the wide receiver room, but he's coming off an injury and is expected to command one of the top contracts at his position. Dak Prescott's deal, meanwhile, continues to loom large over the salary cap. Adding another big-money receiver into the mix could be tricky, unless the Cowboys get creative. That's why they're looking at those other teams Graziano mentioned. Take the Eagles, for example. They're paying both A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and they've managed to structure those contracts in a way that balances immediate competitiveness with future flexibility. Miami is doing something similar with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. If Dallas can find a comparable formula, they could lock in 2 elite wideouts for the foreseeable future, a move that would make life much easier for Dak and the offense. Still, it's not all simple math. Pickens' personality and playing style make him one of the most polarizing young players in the league. He's fiery, outspoken, and sometimes unpredictable, the kind of player who can energize a locker room or frustrate a coaching staff, depending on the day. But so far in Dallas, he's been a perfect fit. Mike McCarthy has praised his work ethic. Dak has repeatedly talked about their growing connection, and even Jerry Jones, who loves a good headline, seems enamored with Pickens' Cowboys DNA. That blend of confidence and production is exactly what Jones has always loved in his stars. Think about the greats who have worn the star: Michael Irvin, Terrell Owens, Dez Bryant. All dynamic receivers with bold personalities who made their presence felt. Pickens feels like the next in that lineage, and the fan base is eating it up. If there's one thing Cowboys fans know all too well, it's that Jerry Jones loves drama. And contract negotiations? That's his favorite kind. The idea of a drawn-out deal with Pickens, the media speculation, the cryptic quotes, the sideline shots of Jerry in his box looking pensive. You can almost script it now. But drama aside, Dallas has every reason to want to get ahead of this. The longer they wait, the more expensive Pickens becomes. If he keeps up this pace and finishes the year as a top 5 receiver statistically, his market value could skyrocket. Suddenly, you're not talking about a mid-tier extension. You're talking about something in the range of $25 to $30 million per year. For a player who was traded to Dallas with some doubts about his maturity, that would be one of the biggest turnarounds in recent memory. From Pickens' perspective, he holds a lot of leverage. He's young, he's producing at an elite level, and he's become a fan favorite almost overnight. But he also knows how volatile this league can be. One bad injury, one dip in production, and that leverage can vanish. So, there's a balance here. Does he push for an early deal and lock in long-term security, or does he bet on himself, play out the season, and aim for a record-setting contract next offseason? Given what we know about his competitive nature, it wouldn't be shocking if Pickens decided to keep playing and force Dallas to pay him top dollar later. Either way, it's a storyline that's going to follow the Cowboys for months. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' locker room seems to have rallied behind Pickens' rise. Players have talked about how his energy has lifted the team, especially during CD's absence. Dak Prescott has mentioned that Pickens' confidence reminds him of the great receivers he's played with in the past, guys who demand the ball because they know they can change the game. That kind of mentality, when harnessed correctly, can be a weapon. It's also reshaped how defenses approach Dallas. Opposing coordinators now have to pick their poison: double Pickens and leave Ferguson or Brandon Cooks open underneath, or play honest coverage and risk getting burned deep. Either way, Pickens has forced defenses to respect the Cowboys' passing game again, something that was missing early in the season. As the year unfolds, the Cowboys find themselves in a familiar place, at the center of attention, balancing success on the field with big decisions off of it. Pickens' potential contract extension isn't just about one player. It's about how Dallas wants to build its future. Do they commit to keeping an explosive offense together, or do they play the cap game and risk losing chemistry in the process? The front office has a chance to show that it's learned from past missteps, that it can be proactive rather than reactive. Because if George Pickens continues to play like this, waiting too long could mean paying a whole lot more later. For now, Cowboys fans can enjoy the show. Pickens has brought excitement back to AT&T Stadium, and with every highlight reel grab, every toe-tap touchdown, he's writing his own story in the Cowboys' history books. The question isn't whether he deserves a new deal. He does. The real question is when it's going to happen and how much it's going to cost. One thing's for sure. If the Cowboys truly believe in building around Dak Prescott and this offensive core, locking down George Pickens will be a top priority. And knowing Jerry Jones, he'll make sure that when the moment comes, it's as big, bold, and dramatic as only the Dallas Cowboys can make it. Whether that moment arrives this offseason or sometime down the road, George Pickens has already proven that he belongs in the star. His talent, his attitude, and his impact on this team have transformed what could have been a lost season into something special. The Cowboys have found their next superstar. Now it's up to them to make sure he stays in Dallas for a long, long time. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. Chaos has officially erupted in the NFL, and if you thought the off-season drama was slowing down, think again. In a shocking move that has left fans and analysts alike completely stunned, star wide receiver Terry McLaurin has reportedly abandoned the Washington Commanders and is set to join the Dallas Cowboys. The news broke like a lightning bolt across social media this morning, with insiders suggesting that this isn't just a simple career move, it's a seismic shift in the league's balance of power. McLaurin, known for his explosive speed, precise route running, and game-changing plays, has been a cornerstone of the Commanders' offense for years. To see him now potentially lining up with Dak Prescott in Dallas has sent shockwaves through both fan bases. The speculation around this transfer is already off the charts, and the rumors circulating suggest that the motivating factor behind this sudden switch is, unsurprisingly, money. Big money. The kind of deal that makes players question loyalty, legacy, and long-term plans. And it seems McLaurin may have decided that his financial future outweighs the emotional bonds of a decade-long franchise connection. Sources close to the situation are painting a picture of tension behind the scenes in Washington. They claim that contract negotiations had reached a breaking point months ago, with the Commanders reportedly unwilling or unable to meet McLaurin's demands. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, with their well-documented financial flexibility and hunger to reclaim their dominance in the NFC East, reportedly saw this as an opportunity to not only snag a premier receiver, but also to send a statement to the rest of the league. Dallas is back, and they're willing to spend to prove it. There's an undeniable buzz in the air, and fans are already split down the middle. Commanders fans are outraged, feeling betrayed by a player who they once celebrated as a hometown hero. Social media threads are exploding with comments ranging from heartbreak to fury, with some accusing McLaurin of being mercenary, while others argue that players have every right to prioritize their careers and financial security. On the other side, Cowboys fans are in pure euphoria, envisioning McLaurin catching passes from Prescott and forming a duo that could terrorize defenses across the league. The sheer contrast in emotional responses shows just how impactful this move could be, not just for McLaurin and his career, but for the NFL landscape as a whole. Interestingly, the whispers suggest that the decision wasn't entirely cold-blooded business. Sources hint that McLaurin has been flirting with the idea of leaving Washington for some time, quietly exploring options and gauging interest from other teams. The Cowboys, with their recent history of aggressive recruitment and savvy trades, reportedly saw the opening and pounced. There's speculation that the offer on the table for McLaurin was not just financially lucrative, but also structured to maximize long-term security, something the Commanders allegedly could not match. Of course, money isn't the only angle being discussed. Some insiders suggest there were also philosophical differences with the Commanders' front office, disagreements over offensive strategy, and a desire for McLaurin to be part of a team that is positioned to make a serious run at the Super Bowl immediately. The Cowboys, with their deep pockets and a roster dotted with talent, appear to be exactly that team, making the move almost irresistible from a career standpoint. Analysts are already weighing the potential ramifications of this move. For the Commanders, losing a player of McLaurin's caliber is devastating. He's been their go-to weapon, a reliable deep threat, and someone who consistently delivers in high-pressure situations. Replacing him won't be easy, and while some suggest Washington could pivot toward younger talent or draft acquisitions, the immediate gap in the offense is undeniable. On the flip side, Dallas suddenly becomes a team to fear. Pairing McLaurin with an already talented offensive unit could drastically alter defensive schematics league-wide, forcing opponents to rethink game plans and adjust to a new level of aerial threat. There's even talk among pundits that this acquisition could tip the scales in the NFC East, giving the Cowboys not just a psychological edge, but a tangible one in their quest for dominance. Of course, this isn't without controversy. The narrative around money over loyalty is already taking hold, and it's the kind of storylines that fuel endless debates among fans, sports writers, and commentators. Some argue that players in today's NFL are entitled to make the most of their earning potential, citing the physically punishing nature of the sport and the relatively short career spans. Others see McLaurin's departure as a betrayal, painting him as someone willing to abandon a team and a fan base that supported him through thick and thin. Either way, the drama is irresistible. Social media is ablaze with memes, reactions, and hot takes. Sports shows are already dissecting every angle, from the financial specifics to the potential on-field implications. The rumor mill is running at full speed, and every insider report, no matter how speculative, is being treated as gospel in the frenzy of excitement and outrage. Beyond the immediate shock, there are also ripple effects to consider. How will this move impact the morale of the Commanders' locker room? Could it trigger other players to seek exits or renegotiate contracts? What about team dynamics in Dallas? Will McLaurin's arrival create tension or immediately blend into the chemistry of the squad? These questions are now dominating conversations among fans, coaches, and analysts alike. Meanwhile, betting odds are already shifting, and sportsbooks are recalibrating their projections for both teams' playoff chances. The magnitude of this potential transfer is huge, and if the reports hold true, it may well define not only the careers involved, but also the trajectory of two major NFL franchises in the coming seasons. Even the timing of the news adds fuel to the fire. Dropping such a bomb during the off-season ensures maximum chatter, endless speculation, and a constant loop of analysis. Every highlight reel of McLaurin's past seasons is being revisited, every clutch play scrutinized, and every tweet from fans and insiders dissected for hidden meanings. The storylines write themselves. The loyal hero who left, the powerhouse team that spent big, and the inevitable showdown that could define the next NFC East season. And the more details leak about the financial arrangements, contract clauses, and potential guarantees, the more the narrative intensifies. Rumors about locker room drama and front office friction are swirling alongside confirmed reports of a blockbuster contract offer, creating a perfect storm for sports media frenzy. As the day unfolds, it's clear that this is not just another player signing. This is a story about ambition, financial strategy, loyalty, and the ever-present tension between heart and career in professional sports. Fans are going to be talking about this for weeks. Analysts will spend hours debating the what-ifs, and the NFL landscape could shift in ways that only history will fully reveal. Whether McLaurin's move proves legendary or controversial, one thing is certain. The rumor mill has delivered its most tantalizing story in recent memory, and the ripple effects are only just beginning. Every touchdown, every snap, every game in. The next season will now be seen through the lens of this seismic shift. Terry McLaurin, money, loyalty, and Dallas. This is the drama that makes football not just a sport, but a story we can't stop watching. And as the whispers grow louder, the headlines more sensational, and the fan reactions more passionate, one truth stands above all. In the NFL, nothing is ever just a game. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.